Okay, guys. Guys that did not participate today, Tyler Higbee with his neck, Michael Hoyt with his knee, Byron Young came away with some knee soreness after the game. Rob Havenstein was resting, Quentin Lake with his hamstring, and then everybody else was good. Puka was limited in the walkthrough, but I don't know what the hell that means because he just did everything. We'd really just, it's kind of a unique opportunity, Adam, where, you still end up having Lucas. Feel like he's a guy that we want to be able to continue to work with, but to have a veteran that has his experience, some of the success, some of the crunch time moments that he's had, and the unique opportunity to be able to bring somebody in on the practice squad and potentially flex them up. Those are things that, we felt like we wanted to be able to explore when you have 16 spots on the practice squad. And so that's what we're doing.
Do you anticipate flexing them up this week?
There's a possibility of that.
But you don't anticipate releasing Lucas?
Do not anticipate doing that.
The only time you guys faced Lamar Jackson, he had a pretty dynamic...
Leave it to you to bring that up. No, I mean, he was awesome. Oh, man. That was... he's a great player. He's been a great player, explosive playmaker. He's doing a lot of really good things this year, Gary. That was not a fond memory for the Rams in 2019, but he did his thing. When you look at it, I mean, it was like clockwork, and it was his MVP year. But he's consistently played great throughout the course of his career. They're a great team. They're as complete a team as there is in this league. And when you've got the right guy at the switch, which they certainly do, they make you. It's that much more difficult to try to come away with the result that you're hunting up. But it's what you love about the NFL. Great challenge.
How has he evolved, if at all? I mean, is he doing the same stuff, or is he just...
He's still a great player. I think a lot of it, too, is when you're asking a quarterback, what types of concepts are you activating? What does the surrounding 10 players look like? I think Coach Monken's done a great job of, they're doing some different things in the pass game where you can see him exhausting and getting through progressions. He does a great job of getting a bunch of different playmakers involved from the receiver position. Obviously, losing Andrews is a unique thing, but they've got depth at that position and some guys that can play in that role that make it challenging. And then, they got 3 backs that they're rotating through. But he's a stud. He can make you pay with his legs. He can make you pay with his arms. He can make you pay with his mind. And so you're seeing all of that stuff show up. And that's what makes him, one of the best and, one of the most difficult to defend without a doubt.
They're one of the only teams, or the only team in the league, with 4 guys who have rushed for over 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. What's the challenge with the versatility that they have at running back in Lamar Jackson?
I think it's that. They've got a great scheme. It's versatile, and even though those 3 backs have some different skill sets, they're still running a lot of the similar types of concepts. They might play them differently situationally, but look at all 3 of those guys. They've done a great job, and then obviously Lamar is extremely dangerous, and you're able to change the math in a positive way for yourselves offensively. And, and they've got some receivers that they can get the ball in their hands, and those guys are basically like extensions of the run game, and they're dangerous. And so, like I said, I think Lamar does a great job leading the way, does a great job of being able to make a lot of different things in terms of stressing the defense. And then I think Coach Monken's done a great job of being able to, utilize a variety of backs.
Speaking of those receivers, Odell Beckham, what's it like going up against him? Have you thought about it? Have you talked to him?
Yeah, I keep in touch. I love Odell. I mean, he sure means a lot to me. It was a blessing to be able to coach him, and he's as fun a guy as there is. He's so talented. He works hard. He's a great teammate. I mean, the ways that he elevated our program and what he meant to our team, and then because you appreciate the person so much, I always root for him, except for this week. A lot of good memories. That he made some huge plays when we went back here in 2021 on a 4th down catch, and then obviously being able to make the game-winning touchdown. But he's on the bad guys this week, so we'll root for him after that.
When you went back and watched the film, is there anything that stood out to you about Lucas toughness and that he took and then coming back in the game?
He'd be able to tell you, Sarah, but I think just the overall athleticism, and just body control, where you look at it, he's running a corner route. He's got weird leverage. Matthew throws it inside, and for him to be able to kind of just torque his body 360 to elevate and then be able to twist, get himself in bounds, he's got great body control. I think for such a tough player, I think sometimes the athleticism, the overall speed and ability to create can be minimized. And I think certainly any of those narratives are out the window with what he did the other day, whether it was on the 2 jet sweeps that he got or the 70-yard touchdown, and then that big play that he ended up making and laying there for a little bit. But it was an impressive play for sure.
Sean, with Odell having 2 major surgeries, do you see on his knee, do you see a sense of toughness or no toughness that we don't see?
Well, I think when you just look at his story, Kurt, and you know what he's overcome to be able to play at the level that he's playing at and the way that he's able to still, be able to get parallel, set routes up, have the body control, whether it's in his lower half or being able to, play with great catch radius. You see that stuff show up. And I think it's a real credit to his resilience, his mental and physical toughness. It took a lot for him to be able to get back to where he was at in terms of the work ethic, and not a lot of people can do that. And I think that's what separates the great ones, and he certainly is in that category.
When you look back to a year ago where you guys were at this team, the frustration, like the level that you felt yourself personally, and you reflect on where you are now, like how did you get here? Like what has led to you guys 6-6, potentially a playoff team? Yeah,
it's hard for me to say other than the people that I'm around. I think perspective is everything. Being in the 7th year, there's been a lot of different experiences that you've accumulated in a short amount of time, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've had all the answers and that it's been a perfect road, even though we've had a lot of good success. And I think it's being able to measure those things, have the values and principles that you want to operate with kind of guide the way that you move while also still being a human being. And so I do believe that it is, very difficult to develop grit and resilience without setbacks. And you can read about it, you can talk about it, but until you go through it, it's a lot of just, coach speaking words. And so while I've mentioned it before, I didn't love a lot of the things that we went through. I think it was really necessary. For me personally, I think that, a lot of the things that we've gone through this year, it hasn't been all smooth sailing in terms of getting the results. But what I do think that guys would tell you is there's been a consistent energy with the way they've approached every single day. And I think that consistent approach and that mental and physical toughness, that grit that's been established by our team has served us well, especially coming off of the bye. We got some guys back healthy. But I think it's just being able to remember the values and principles that kind of guide the way that you want to move and not necessarily let external circumstances, and in a lot of instances, some of the previous things that, were deemed successful, allow you to lose perspective. And, I think that's been something that, has allowed us to enjoy it more and have the perspective that we want to be able to have. No, I think it was, I'm wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I think one of those things too is you drop the narrative of feeling like you have to be this, you have to be perfect in terms of whatever this narrative is or whatever you think you should be for other people, and I think there was power in acknowledging it, but it is something that, you could talk about it all you want, but it doesn't really matter. It's about, how are you doing it? Words are one thing, but your actions, modeling the way is the most important thing. And it's never perfect, and I love this game. I love coaching. I love being around these players. That doesn't mean that, I'm just always joyful either. There's things where you go through real emotions because you care and you work hard. And sometimes you're a little bit more irritable because you're not sleeping, whether it's because of the little man or not. But I think these are just necessary steps as you continue to grow into, the man you want to be. I've kind of grown up, in front of your guys' eyes. And I'm not afraid to be human, but I do want to make sure that I'm correcting the things that I think I can control. And that's one of the things that I want to keep doing.
The weather on Sunday is supposed
to man, that's going to be great, huh?
How does it affect the game plan? Do you add any drills during practice?
Yeah, you definitely want to work with the wet ball and those types of things. Because it is different. Now, fortunately, maybe, the 1 week that we won't get the winds out here when we actually could use them, we might not get that. So, that's just, no, it'll be, we are aware of that. It definitely affects the way that you need to anticipate some things, but the footing, you look at it, I think one of the things that we didn't do a good enough job, and it starts with me, is the footing, especially like in Green Bay. It was wet, we were slipping all over the place. And so, those types of things, let's get ahead of that. And then let's be cognizant of, how the game could potentially be altered. And, we'll follow that weather as we go.
What's your relationship like with John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Both Miami, Ohio guys, both have statues. Did
Yeah.
you consult with him at all before you?
He's been awesome to me. You know, there is, the Miami of Ohio connection is real. He's always been great. You know, you have those cross interactions, Gary, when you go to the league meetings or different things where head coaches cross paths, but he's always in an authentic and sincere way. Even when I was in Washington and we'd play Baltimore every single preseason and we, sometimes crossed over with them in the regular season, he was always first class, always willing to, be a great example and a mentor. And that is really consistently carried on. He's a guy that does so many great things for that community, to be able to give back and use his platform the right way. He's also done that with Miami. And so I'm very appreciative and I have so much respect for the consistency at which he's done it. The more that I do this and the longer that you're fortunate enough to be in this role, you realize how hard it is to sustain a certain level of the way that they operate in Baltimore. And that's such a credit to him and the leadership there. But he's been great to me and I do have a good relationship with Coach. Okay? Thanks, guys.